Have you ever felt like you're just fighting a losing battle with yourself? You want to be productive, you want to eat healthier, but it just feels like you need more willpower, right? More discipline. Well, what if I told you that that entire struggle is based on a complete myth? We're about to find out why the real secret to success isn't about trying harder. It's about designing smarter.
So on one side, you've got the whole hustle culture playbook. Just grind it out, resist temptation, and force your way through with pure discipline. But on the other side, there's a totally different approach. Shape your environment, build better systems, and just remove the need to resist in the first place. This whole explainer is about why the right side of the screen is so much more powerful than the left. So this is the big question, isn't it? It haunts so many of us. We set these goals with the best intentions, and then, well, life happens. We feel lazy, we get distracted, and then we beat ourselves up for not having enough grit. But the answer to this question isn't found by looking inside for more strength. The real answer is all around us. And to really understand why, we need to look at one of the most powerful and honestly accidental experiments in the history of behavioral psychology. It's a story about heroin addiction during the Vietnam War. And trust me, it's going to flip everything you think you know about breaking bad habits on its head. Okay, get this. Back in 1971, researchers found out that nearly 20%, 1 in 5, U.S. soldiers in Vietnam were addicted to heroin. The drug was cheap, it was pure, and for a lot of them, it was a way to cope with the unbelievable stress of war. Back in the States, this caused a huge panic. The government was bracing for hundreds of thousands of addicts to come flooding back into society. So the stage was set for this massive public health crisis. You've got all these soldiers addicted to one of the most powerful drugs on Earth, getting on planes and flying back to their old lives. What do you think happened? Based on everything we're told about addiction, the outcome should have been absolutely devastating. But it wasn't. In a finding that just completely stunned the scientific community, a researcher named Lee Robbins discovered that 9 out of 10, that's 90%, of the addicted soldiers just quit, almost overnight. No rehab, no support groups, they just stopped. How is that even possible? Well, the answer, as you can see laid out right here, had nothing to do with some kind of superhuman willpower. It was all about a radical change of environment. In Vietnam, the cues to use were everywhere. The stress, the other soldiers using, the easy access. But back home, poof, those cues just vanished. The entire world around them changed, and the habit just dissolved. It's this incredibly powerful lesson that our behavior is so often just a product of our environment, not just our inner resolve. Now, this incredible story isn't just some fluke. It's actually a huge, dramatic example of a fundamental principle that steers our behavior every single day, usually without us even noticing. There's a whole science behind this, and it's called choice architecture. Choice architecture is just a simple idea. The way options are presented to us has a massive, massive influence on what we end up choosing. Think about the layout of a grocery store or the design of an app. Someone is always the choice architect. They're framing your decisions, and by doing that, they're gently nudging you toward a certain outcome. And this right here is the critical point. There is no such thing as a neutral design. This quote from Richard Thaler, who literally won a Nobel Prize for this work, says it all. You can't not influence choices. Something has to be listed first on a menu. Some button has to be bigger on a website. So the real question isn't if choices are being designed, but who is doing the designing and why. Okay, so the Vietnam story is dramatic for sure, but how does this stuff show up in our regular lives? Let's run through some quick examples that prove just how powerfully choice architecture shapes everything, from our money to our health. Would you look at this? When companies make their employees actively sign up for a retirement plan that's an opt-in system, only about 45% of people do it. But when they just flip the switch and automatically enroll everyone, making them actively opt out if they don't want it, participation jumps to 86%. It's the same people, the same savings plan. The only thing that changed was the path of least resistance. And this one is just brilliant. In a hospital cafeteria, researchers just added a few more water stations and put some bottles of water in the refrigerators right next to the soda. They didn't say a word to anyone. They didn't put up any signs. The result? Soda sales dropped by over 11%, and water sales shot up by almost 26%. They just made the healthy choice the easy choice, and people naturally followed along. Okay, so we've seen the proof, we get the theory. This all leads to one really powerful conclusion. If you want to change your behavior, you have to stop trying to change your mind and start changing your environment. So let's build a practical blueprint right now so you can become the choice architect of your own life, especially for something we all fight with: focus.
Here's exactly how you can engineer your workspace so that focus is the automatic choice. 4 simple rules. First, make the good cues obvious. Put that important report you need to finish right in the middle of your desk so you literally can't miss it. Second, make the bad cues invisible. Your phone is the #1 enemy of focus. Get it out of your sight. Even better, put it in another room. Third, reduce the friction for good habits. Have everything you need to start work laid out and ready to go. And fourth, increase the friction for bad habits. You want to watch less TV? When you're done, unplug it and hide the remote in a drawer. You'd be amazed what a tiny bit of friction can do.
And really, this is what our entire explainer boils down to. This is the big takeaway. Real self-control isn't about having a will of steel. It's about being smart enough that you don't have to use it very often. It's about designing a life where the right choices are the easiest choices. It's time to stop playing defense against temptation and start playing offense by designing a better field. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Right now, who is designing the choices in your life? Is it advertisers? Is it app developers? Or is it you? By understanding these principles, you can stop being just a product of your environment and start making your environment a product of you. You have the power to be your own choice architect. The only question is, what are you going to design?